Joined now by Shammgod, PC Friar legend, currently an assistant for the Dallas Mavericks. We first I want to congratulate you on your new shoe. It's not every day a basketball player gets a shoe, and yours came after your playing days. But how special has this been for you?
It's been more than special for me because I grew up as a shoe person and grew up like on Michael Jordan and different shoes, whether it's Tim Hardaway, the crossover shoe, and things like that. So for me to have my own shoe is a dream come true and something I thought would never happen, even if I played 20 years in the NBA.
So tell us the story. I did some reading. Apparently, it has to do with Jay-Z. Tell us how this came to be.
One of Jay-Z's close friends, Emory Jones, had introduced me to Puma. Well, I was just going to talk to them to be a consultant and like give them ideas of like basketball players and stuff like that. And once they spoke to me, they was like, "Won't you be an ambassador for the brand?" And then they reached out to Jay-Z and Rock Nation to ask would I be a brand ambassador, and then that's how this came about.
So the shoe, I've seen the pictures. It's pretty cool. It's got 1997 on it, which of course was your breakout year with the Friars. How is the shoe, I guess, a symbol of your playing career and obviously your famous move, the Shammgod? It has almost a tutorial in the shoe on how to do the move. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, it's just revamped my college days and when I came about, far as notoriety, far as the Shammgod move in 1997, playing against Arizona in the Elite Eight. Everybody that watched the game and people that don't know, I did a move in that game that took on a life of its own. To that, 20 years later, we're here, and I have a shoe that breaks down the move and show you every inch of the move because everywhere I go, people always ask me how to do the move. And then it has my high school colors on it, LaSalle Academy, where I was. That was my high school colors and my McDonald's All Americans colors, which was red, white, and black. And it has my initials on the tongue, GS, for my name, God Sham God. And it just means so much to me because it symbolizes like my path to where I'm at now as a player development coach of Dallas Mavericks, and even going back to PC, finishing my degree, and that kind of helped me become a coach now for the Dallas Mavericks. So I always want to thank Ed Cooley, Steve Knapp, and Bob Driscoll, for kind of like spearheading the way for Shammgod, my next life in sports, as far as I was a basketball player, and now they helped me become a coach. And I learned a lot in my years at PC, whether it's training, Bryce Kai and Chris Dunn, LaDonte Hinton, Ben to doing some stuff with Mashawn Brooks. It just gave me a different perspective on life, and I finished my degree, so it was a great journey.
So coming back to PC, it's not like you went back to square one, but like you said, if you told yourself back in 2012 when you came back to Providence, hey, in 8 years you're going to have your own shoe, you're going to ascend as a coach, be in the NBA. Why was going back to your roots at Providence so important to where you are now?
Because when I went into the draft, I promised my mother that I would finish my degree. It didn't necessarily have to be at Providence, but I wanted to finish my degree. And then when I saw Steve Knapp and Bob Driscoll at the Big East tournament, I talked to them for a while, and me and Steve Knapp always had a great friendship. And he talked to me about the idea of coming back to Providence, finishing my degree. It would be great just for me, and just for the program. Because when I left, I kind of left abruptly, so it was like unfinished business between me and the PC fans, which I loved. Loved, they always rooting for me, cheering for me. Even after I left PC, they was rooting and cheering for me, and going back was just a great feeling, and it just kind of helped me grow up more, and then being under Ed Cooley tutelage of learning how to coach, and the whole PC staff, uh, everybody that's up there, they kind of helped me and put me under their wing, and just helped me with the day-to-day stuff as far as coaching and developing players.
Are you ever surprised on how your name in that move has taken on sort of this crazy following and all the young players in the NBA emulate you for that move? Do guys still come up to you? I mean, whether it's Kyrie Irving or Chris Paul or Russell Westbrook, how humbling or cool is it that these guys know a move when those guys were, just youngsters, probably don't remember seeing you do it live?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm always a humble soul. You know, through my path of life, I trained a lot of different people. Even when I was playing, and we was kind of the same age, whether it was rest in peace, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett. I played in the McDonald's All-American game with me, Stephon Marbury, Kevin Garnett, Vince Carter, Paul Pierce, and even at that time, you know, I was known for dribbling, so they used to always ask me for tips. And he was at the McDonald's All-American game was Ron Mercer. And all the guys used to be, used to be around me at half court, and I used to do dribbling moves and just show each one of them, just something. And throughout my career, whether when I got drafted to the Washington Wizards, whether it was Chris Webber to a point when I remember I played the Lakers and Shaquille O'Neal was like, man, I know you got some fancy moves, show me some moves and stuff like that. So I guess it was kind of like God's plan all the time because it seemed like my whole career, even though I was playing and I was in the midst of it, and I became good at it through my whole journey. Some people have always asked me about dribbling things like dribbling moves and stuff
Hmm.
like that. So kind of like even when I was training Kobe, I was in the 11th grade, he was in the 10th grade, and I was in the 12th, he was in 11th. So we was only year apart and things like that. And so it's kind of like God always had put me on this path. And, this time I'm just following his path straight through because I felt when I was in Providence, if I had to follow his path straight through, I would have stayed one more year, came out, and things might have been different, might not.
Hmm.
But in the this journey, being a good person, a lot of people root for me and a lot of people pray for me. So I believe that's what got me this far. And, I wouldn't change the person I am today for no money in the world, even if I was in the NBA in 20 years.
The guys on the Mavs now, do they respect you more? Do you have more street cred, so to speak, now that you have your own shoe? Do they listen up a little bit more now?
I mean, I think everyone listened, no matter if I had a shoe or not, because since high school, even before I came to PC, whether it's true or not, I don't know. But I've been always since high school. People always say, "Oh, he's like the best dribbler ever of this generation," or he is at least one or two. So when you have that stigma already going in, people listen. And I grew up with a lot of famous rappers, whether it was Mace, Cameron, Jay-Z. I knew Puff, I knew Sean Combs, Puff Daddy in high school. So I always had street cred, and then I always played in all the street tournaments growing up. So that would be the whether it was a sneaker or not.
Yeah.
I think the sneaker just stamps on the legacy from a street and a regular professional basketball stint. If you get what I'm saying, for me to be around and Chris Paul to come up to me and say, "Man, when I was in high school growing up, I used to watch you in college and things like that." And whether it's me and Russell Westbrook becoming good friends, and a lot of people respecting that, and Kyrie Irving, Kimber Walker, for them to look at me as like that guy of my generation and help them. And like I always said, even if I'm not the best dribbler ever, I always felt that one day I would spark the brain of the best dribbler ever. So, and I always, growing up, I always wanted to just inspire people, whether it was me playing 20 years, whether it was me playing 20 years or just inspiring people. That's all I wanted. How you doing? Okay, hold on one minute. Yeah. No, because I'm doing this interview, but hold on one minute. Yeah.
Um, you said you want to inspire people. Will your a lot of the proceeds are from your shoe were going to a charity in Harlem, or someone that is giving back to Corona? What can you tell us about how you're
Yeah.
funneling some of the profits there?
I'm doing over 2,000 masks to Share for Life Fund. And that's they do a lot of community service in the neighborhood, whether it's like after school programs and feeding the homeless. And I got with them last year. and we decided to do a big thing of me giving mass to Grant Housing. And Grant Housing is like right down the street from the junior high school I went to. And the reason why we gave it to them is because they have the most deaths of any housing in New York City. You know, right now I think they're at 24 deaths from that housing. So we just want to make sure that the people get the proper care. And I've always been a man of the people. You know, whether I was in Providence doing stuff for kids in New York, you know, I just want to see people be healthy, be successful, and when people are down in their luck, I just want to be there to help them. So, you know, like I said, I'm blessed. So I think that the blessings that God gave me was to bless other people.
And getting back to work now with the Mavericks, what's it been like at the facility? And you guys will be one of those teams that's going to Orlando. How has this whole transition been and getting back what you do in player development, getting these guys ready to be playing by the end of July?
I mean, it's been good. You know, it's been kind of challenging because every day we got to go in there and we got to get tested and we got to go through a whole bunch of stuff on a daily basis. And there's more one-on-one. You know, you only can have one player at a time, so you got to keep doing hours and changing and different stuff. So you know, it's challenging, but it's a blessing to start basketball up again. You know, we're
Yeah.
gonna go to Orlando, and you know, it's a blessing to be one of the teams because the last 2 years I've been here, we haven't been like in that position. So just to see the evolution of all the hard work that all the coaching staff put in with Luka Doncic and the rest of the team, whether it's Seth Curry, Tim Hardaway Jr. Now we got Porzingis, and just doing all the work to make sure these guys is ready to play basketball.
You're a basketball historian. How good can Luka Doncic be, and where does he rank right now amongst the best in the league?
Um, he could be as great as he want to be because he have all the tools to be a great player. He's already exceeded expectations as far as the NBA and probably for Europe. He's the youngest European player to get MVP in EuroLeague, and he's just a sponge when it comes to basketball, and he really listens and he really works hard. And like I said, sky's the limit for him. Right now, he's probably I know he's at least top five favorite player as far as fans,
Yeah.
and right now he's probably at least top 10 player, if not even higher in the NBA right now with the things he's doing. He's breaking all records for first and second year player. As far as triple doubles and scoring, he's averaging 30 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds. Which is an amazing thing for you know a kid that just turned drinking age.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I have to ask you, in the light of George Floyd's death, how much of race discussions are you guys having as a team, and how much are you just internally um, talking to friends, colleagues, family members about all of this?
It's a tragedy what happened, with George Floyd. So, we talk about it every day, mostly internally, just to make sure people are feeling the right way. But mostly it's just about injustice. It's about right or wrong. For me, it's about right or wrong because I have friends of different race, so I don't look at people like that when it comes to race. I just look at right or wrong, and this is a humanity thing, not a black and white thing. This is bigger than that. It's
Mhm.
about being a good person. Being a good person and doing the right thing, and taking your job seriously, and just caring about people. We got to get back to loving people, and I think that's what this pandemic and everything is showing us, that we have to make a lot of changes in our life as people, because this is not how God intended to be. He intended us to be loving people and just taking care of one another, making sure one another is good. And I just think now, we for all the stuff that's going on, we have the voice, we have the people that can make changes, and we have everybody that's fighting for the right reasons now. Nobody's fighting for the wrong, everybody's fighting for the right reasons. And even when things get out of hand, we still fighting for the right reasons, and we just want people to be not in denial. We just want people to be aware, and I think that's the most important part about this. It's about just being aware, that what's going on in the world, and doing your best to be a solution and not a problem. and I'm proud of, the way, we standing up and I'm proud of the way the country is standing up for what's right and for George Floyd and his family. We wish them the best and, we want them to know the whole world is here for them.
And those are, I'm sure, ongoing discussions with the players on the Mavs. Um,
Mhm.
well, good stuff. Now we know PC's got a Nike contract, so they can't rock the Puma.
Mhm.
Um, where are we going to be seeing these? You can buy them in stores. Like, are you telling people, can they get them at the Providence Mall, Providence Place Mall, Warwick
Yeah,
Mall? What do you think?
they would be at the Puma stores and all the Puma stores, all the Puma outlets around the world, and you can go online, Puma.com. They would come out, June 15th, and like I said, I just want people to enjoy the shoe because the shoes is made to protect your ankles and to help you stop and help you when it comes to dribbling and things like that. And right now there's nothing else I can say. I'm blessed. I'm with probably the best owner in basketball, and Mark Cuban, and one of the best coaches in the NBA, Rick Carlisle, really put me under his wing and showing me the ropes as far as coaching. And I'm with an amazing company with Rock Nation, with Jay-Z, Juan Perez, Des Perez. So I just think sky's the limit, and the future is bright.
Good stuff. Now, let me ask you, you mentioned Mark Cuban, having the continuity of he and Carlisle. I haven't looked, but they have to be one of the most longest tenured owners, coaches in the NBA right now. What's it
Mhm.
like working for both of them, specifically Mark Cuban, who sort of came into the league and everyone thought he was a different guy sitting behind the bench. He's an everyday guy. He obviously has risen to quite some fame. What are those guys like as bosses?
Um, I don't call them bosses. I don't call them bosses. I call them more about they're leaders.
Yeah,
Bosses push, leaders pull, and as everybody sees what's going on in the world today, they see how Mark is leading. How Mark is pulling everybody together to lead this fight on social justice and if everybody see the things he's doing out here in the world, I mean that's just how he is in every day of his job. He hired the best people and he let them do their job. And he's a boss you can always call and get great leadership and great advice from. And he's so knowledgeable about the game and about his business. And what can I say? Coach Carlisle is an amazing coach. He's been in the NBA for over 30 years, and he's just showing me the ropes on how to be better as a coach and how to deal with players. Because I had the talent. But talent don't always get you the right place if you don't have great leadership. So, like I said, between those three guys and well, four, because Adam Pritchard at Puma, he's a great leader.